After punishing landlords with a ridiculous eviction moratorium, the city of Seattle has lost more than 10,000 rental units in a single year. I'm Tony, and this is Real Estate Investing and Landlord News. All right, so it looks like finally the stats are out there, right? And all of these anti-landlord regulations, all these eviction moratoriums and nonsense, all these rules that punished landlords and, just made them the cause, the enemy of everyone in the entire city. These things have driven landlords out of business in the city of Seattle, okay? And the stats are out. They say that 3,000 properties have been removed from the rental market, consisting of 10,000 rental units. Okay, that is huge. That's a huge number of units to just disappear in 1 year. Okay, landlords, they're not going to put up with this garbage. They're selling, the small ones especially, they're selling to owner occupants, or the bigger ones, they're converting to condos or co-ops, or just completely removing them from the rental market, finding other uses for them. But they're just not going to sit there and take it. They're not going to sit there and just say, hey, I'm going to just keep on paying my money out of my pocket so that this person over here can live for free. That's stupid, and these politicians, they should have realized it. Yet in the article, they can't figure out what the cause of this is, because they got their heads stuffed up their butts. That's why. They have no clue that the policies they put in place are the things that caused this, okay? Now, before I get into the article, go ahead, hit the like and subscribe button, maybe leave a comment down below, and let me know what you think, okay? This same thing, do you think this same thing is playing out all throughout the country in all these places that put all these ridiculous rules in place for landlords? I do. Okay, I think that anywhere where they tell a landlord, hey, you don't have a right to make money, you don't have a right to your own property, you don't have a right to remove these tenants who aren't paying, well, I think those places are going to lose landlords. They're going to lose rental properties, and it's only going to be worse for the tenants. The tenants who said, hey, there's a shortage of affordable housing. Well, guess what? You scared away even more affordable housing because you put all these stupid rules in place. It's a no-brainer, okay? So, this article is coming from mynorthwest.com, and it says, Seattle loses nearly 3,000 rental properties in less than a year. All right, let's get into it. Seattle has lost nearly 3,000 rental properties between May of last year and January of 2022. Those properties constitute roughly 10,000 units in total. Since May, only 27 rental units were added. Jim Henderson with the Rental Housing Association of Washington attributes the loss to a growing number of rental protection laws, making it harder and more expensive to own rental property in Seattle. Henderson says instead of improving conditions for renters, all the laws are limiting options and raising rental prices. Yeah, they had the exact opposite effect of what these politicians said they were going to do. It's the same thing with any rent control policies. They're like, oh, it's going to make housing more affordable, but it makes housing more expensive. Okay, you put an eviction protection in there, and landlords, they get out of the market. They don't want to rent their properties out anymore, and they just want to go on, find either another market where they can, be that outside of the city limits or outside of the state of Washington as a whole, or they just no longer are in the real estate business at all. Okay, and so it's crazy to think that they actually thought that these policies would work, that we would just bow down and just take it. Oh, I'm just going to, not make any money off of my property. Just like, no, we're businesses. We operate like businesses, and they can't control the way that we react to the laws that they pass. Okay. This is one of those unintended consequences. And the result will be that there's less affordable housing. The housing that is available will be much, much more expensive. There's less rental units overall. So how is this helping? Yet you couldn't tell this to the extremely far left-wing politicians that are sitting on the city council. They wouldn't understand. No matter what you show them, they would still insist that their socialist policies work You're like, hey, this isn't working. This isn't working. Look at, here's the evidence. And they'd be like, no. It'll work this time because this is different. The way I'm doing it is different because they are morons, okay? And they don't understand economics, and that's the way it has always been. That's why we don't vote these people into office in the first place, okay? Or we vote them out if they do happen to get in office. So let's keep going. The Seattle Department of Construction and Inspections tells KIRO News Radio the number of rentals has declined, but the office says it would need to do more analysis to identify a reason. Yeah, they got their heads shoved so far up their butts they can't even figure out why. I don't know why, Maybe it was the 2-year eviction moratorium, huh? Maybe. The funny thing about this is this only covers the last year, okay? The eviction moratorium actually started in March of 2020. So I wonder how many rental units were actually lost in the city of Seattle from the beginning of the eviction moratorium all the way up until right now. Heck, I'd even go further, because Seattle has had these super strong anti-landlord, pro-tenant protections in place for years before even the pandemic happened. So yeah, how steadily has the city of Seattle been losing rental properties? Now, before, at least they said, hey, we've got this super strong economy, and these developers are coming in, they're building a lot of luxury condos for all the tech workers, etc. But how does that help the average person who doesn't make $200,000 a year? It doesn't. Okay, so yeah, we're going to see a huge decline in the number of rental units available for people who want to live in Seattle. And, the result will be, hey, people will, likely move to the suburbs or, somewhere where these regulations don't exist. Okay, and some people might be turned off from moving to the city of Seattle altogether just because, it's expensive and it's hard to find a place to live that's affordable. At this time, we can't confirm these exact numbers or their magnitude, but they appear to be directionally correct with regard to a decline in rental properties. Calculation of these numbers is complicated and multifaceted, and we can't draw conclusions on why the numbers are changing without a complete analysis of changes in the rental housing supply. Christina Postlewaite, Relations Manager with SDCI, wrote in a statement in KIRO News Radio. In recent years, the Seattle City Council has passed tougher eviction laws requiring landlords to pay to register properties, increased inspections, and created new laws about rent increases and rejecting tenants. It's difficult for landlords to comply, can be expensive, and mistakes open them up to lawsuits, according to Henderson. Henderson says many Seattle landlords are getting out of the business or investing in rentals outside of the city. And Henderson would know, okay? Henderson understands because, hey, if this guy is a landlord, okay? This is my big gripe. When they put all these policies and rules and regulations in place, very rarely do they actually talk to the biggest stakeholder involved, the landlords, the property owners, the developers. Say, hey, if we put this kind of law in place, are you going to build new building? Are you going to want to rent your property anymore? And in a lot of the cases, the answer is no. Why do you think there's such opposition to taking property rights away? Okay, you saw what happened up in St. Paul, Minnesota, when they passed their rent control law without discussing any of it with the developers. The developers just instantly pulled out. 80% of all new development just disappeared overnight because they didn't talk to the developers before they put that stupid law in place. And this is the exact same way. All these eviction protections in Seattle, all the rental registration, the enhanced inspections and all that doesn't help anything, okay? I've said this before, time and time again. What these protections and inspections and all this that was meant to help tenants, it's going after the 1% of landlords who are not doing what they're supposed to be doing, right? That's what they're going after. But the 99% of landlords who are already providing good quality housing and working well with tenants, they're the ones who get punished. They're the ones who have to pay all the extra costs. And that is why the housing costs go up. The bad landlords, they don't care about these new inspections or fines or any of that. They're still breaking the rules no matter what. But the good landlords now are paying hundreds, thousands of dollars extra just so they can rent their unit. They're getting screwed over, not getting paid rent for months or years on end during eviction moratoriums. And they are going out of business because they can't deal with all the regulations in a place like Seattle. So yeah, interesting article here. I'm not surprised, but hey, this is a warning for all those cities and towns who think that, hey, we can just throw all these stupid regulations on landlords and they'll just take it. They nothing will happen. Our city's booming. That's what the people of Seattle think. They think, oh, their city is booming. The economy here is booming. But they chased away their own landlords, and these rental properties have declined by 10,000 because of it.